2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No.
Welcome to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Big shout out to the sponsors of the channel, my boy Fast Classic. His mixtape is in the description box. It is absolutely free. Definitely give him a download, give him a listen. And my boy Matt, definitely check his apparel out on IG at We All From. Now this is the official breakdown and prediction video for Errol the Truth Spence Jr. versus Showtime Shawn Porter. 147 pounds, welterweight unification action, pay-per-view on Fox. It's going down this Saturday, September 28th, 2019. I am very excited for the fight. I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to get excited, but I seen the face-off between these two guys, and it got me a little hype. It wasn't no disrespectful type shit, but got me a little hype for the fight. Now, it's been a while since I've done a breakdown and prediction video. For the people that's new to the channel, I'm not going to sit up here and fraud. I'm one of the best in the business in terms of breaking down a fight. I really don't get the satisfaction of whether I got the pick right or wrong. I get more satisfaction on how I predict the fight is going to go and whether the fight goes exactly how I predict it in terms of technical style, how it's going to play out throughout the fight. This breakdown and prediction video was no different. Y'all know how I do. I like to pull the lab coat out, picked it up from the dry cleaners. It's been a while. Got in the lab, film room, did some homework on Errol Spence Jr., did some homework on Shawn Porter, and of course I'm going to break it down how it's supposed to be broken down. Now, let's start with Errol Spence Jr. For the people that's new to the channel, I am a Errol Spence Jr. fan. I'm just not as big of a fan as some other people. Errol Spence Jr. is very dominant inside of the ring. The one question you would have is Errol Spence competition. Has he been in with a good amount of competition? No, he hasn't. His two best victories is Kell Brook and Lamont Peterson. I know you're probably saying, well, what about Mikey Garcia? Mikey Garcia is a 135-pound fighter. I don't care how much he was calling out Spence. That was a money grab. Mikey Garcia didn't stand a chance in that fight, strictly not because of the size, but because of the southpaw stance. And Mikey Garcia money combo is the 1-2, the jab straight right hand. It's harder to lab the jab straight right hand on a southpaw than it is an orthodox fighter. For some reason, when Mikey Garcia fights orthodox fighters, they can't get out of the way of his jab straight right hand. Look at Robert Bunny Easter. But I didn't like Mikey Garcia in that fight strictly because he was fighting a southpaw. It had nothing to do with the size. But Errol Spence Jr., regardless, fought a 135-pound fighter. That's not one of his best victories. He did what I expected for him to do. And the two fights that I watched the most was the Kell Brook fight and the Lamont Peterson fight. Because to be truly honest with you, there's not too much else to watch from a film standpoint on Errol Spence Jr. Now, Errol Spence Jr., I mean, he got the basics down packed. Like, he is down to a science. Like, his basics, like, he's like the Tim Duncan of boxing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the Tim Duncan of boxing. Like, the fundamentals is just there. His whole game is based off of fundamentals. Like, he has solid footwork. really good power. He might be top 3 in the game in terms of cutting the ring off. He may be the top guy in the game in terms of efficiency, in terms of punches. Like, he makes every punch count. He makes every punch count. And he got mustard on all of his shots. Now, a lot of times I'll criticize somebody that throw the same mustard on every single shot, but it works for Spence. And the most lethal punch you can have in this game is a jab. The jab sets everything up, and it's hard to beat a guy that's a southpaw with power, and he bases everything off of the jab. There's a lot of fighters that became great with power and a jab. Errol Spence Jr. is one of those guys, and Errol Spence Jr. is one of the most feared guys in boxing. I gotta give it to him. I gotta give it to him, hands down. Crazy body work. The headshots is short, compact. But there are holes in Errol Spence's game. There's holes in Errol Spence's game when I watch film on him. There's a couple of things that he does that is pretty consistent in his fights. You can almost say repetitive. Errol Spence starts probably 80 to 85% of his combinations with a jab, or his punch sequences with a jab. Very rarely do you see him start a combination out with a hook. Very rarely do you see him start it with an uppercut. 8 times out of 10, he's starting his punch combination with a jab. Number 2, he does this consistently. If you throw shots at Errol Spence Jr., more than likely, he's not going to throw with you. A lot of times, he just blocks the shots with his hands, or he'll try to move out of the way of the shots. Very rarely does he punch with a guy. He'll let a guy get his shots off, and then he'll get back to work. And the third thing with Errol Spence Jr. that is very consistent is his base is really square when it comes to him punching. Like, he squares up a lot. And the reason he squares up a lot is because a lot of times he's in the ring with somebody that he knows is not going to throw back at him. So he'll square up and he'll put a lot into his shots. Those are the 3 things that I see consistently with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is a very good fighter. There's a reason he's a 9-1 favorite over Shawn Porter. But those are the 3 main things that I see in terms of Errol Spence Jr. And I won't even say that they're holes. I'll take that back. I won't say that they're holes. He hasn't needed to show anything different. I think that's a better way of wording it. I think he hasn't had a reason to show anything different in terms of those things that he does on a consistent basis that I think are things that could be exploited. Now, let's get to Showtime Shawn Porter. Showtime Shawn Porter has been in the ring with a lot of different guys. He's been in the ring with Keith Thurman. He's been in the ring with Danny Garcia. He's been in the ring with Devin Alexander. He's been in the ring with Andre Berto. Shawn Porter has fought Adrian Broner. He's fought the who's who of fighters. So his competition level, his resume is extremely good. And there are some things that Shawn Porter brings to the table that I think is interesting in this fight. Number 1, his athleticism. He's more athletic than Errol Spence Jr. Like that's a fact. Second thing, Shawn Porter has the quicker feet. He used to be a football player. A lot of times he'll do these little football moves and, a lot of feinting and left to right movement before he gets inside or try to get to his spot before he starts throwing shots. And the third thing with Shawn Porter, for a relatively short fighter, he has a pretty solid jab. It's not a game changer, but it's a solid jab. It's a solid jab, and it works for Shawn Porter. Now, Shawn Porter is an underdog for a reason. He's not looked at as the more skilled fighter. He's not looked at as the more skilled fighter. Now, I firmly believe that he lost to Yordenis Ugas. I think he lost to Ugas. I gave it 7-5 Ugas, and I was being polite. I could have easily gave it 8-4, 9-3 for Ugas. Easily. I didn't have Shawn Porter winning that fight. Did I think Ugas left some things on the table? Absolutely. Did I think Ugas literally took it from the champion, like people like to say? No. But do I think he won 7 rounds? Absolutely. Now, Shawn Porter went in there and fought a completely different style. He's doing a lot of, moving around the ring, dancing with the stars. If somebody would have fought Shawn Porter like that back in the day, him and his dad would have been like they was running. And that's facts. But I commend Shawn Porter for fighting in a different style, because you can't expect to walk into a guy's house and you just walk into the party through the front door and not paying admission fee. Your career not going to last doing that. So I respect the fact that Shawn Porter tried to throw some wrinkles to his game. But seeing that Ugas fight, he showed me that he can't really punch and move at the same time. Like, if Shawn Porter's moving around, he's moving around and he's not going to throw shots. When Shawn Porter's moving around, he's going to give you some right and left, side to side, shoulder to shoulder movement before he sets and throws. So even though Shawn Porter looks like he's doing a lot in terms of movement, his movement is pretty repetitive. And let me explain why I said that. When he fought Danny Garcia, he won a decision against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia landed the most clean shots and the most power shots on Shawn Porter than any other Shawn Porter opponent. Why did Danny Garcia didn't get the victory? Strictly because Danny Garcia didn't do anything outside of landing those power shots a couple times around. At the end of the day, Shawn Porter has the physical tools to give Errol Spence problems. The footwork, the tenacity, the overall strength of Shawn Porter, iron chin, been in there with great competition. Shawn Porter has the physical tools to give Errol Spence Jr. problems. This fight comes down to one thing only. Can Shawn Porter put it all together for 12 rounds and exploit what Errol Spence has not had to show inside of the ring? Can Shawn Porter put together a 12-round fight? And I believe the answer is no. I'm a Shawn Porter fan, but the one thing about Shawn Porter is Shawn Porter, every single fight, he does certain things that just makes me scratch my head. Like, Shawn Porter never gives me a complete fight. Like, I come out of every single Shawn Porter fight, it don't matter if he gets the victory or not, if he got the victory looking good or it looked ugly. He always gives me about 3 or 4 things in a fight where I just be like, damn, Shawn, like, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. I haven't seen Shawn Porter put together a complete fight. The closest I seen to him putting a complete fight together was against Adrian Broner. And even in the 12th round against Adrian Broner, he got hit with the left hook and got put down in the 12th round. Legitimate knockdown. Even when he was pitching a shutout. Like, at the end of the day, Shawn Porter has to put on a clinic just to probably get a split decision against Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence Jr. don't have to go outside of his normal game to beat Shawn Porter. Because with Shawn Porter coming in, them straight shots is going to kill Shawn Porter. Because you don't throw hooks and things like that, like wide hooks against Shawn Porter. He's ducking that all night. If you're going to throw a hook, it needs to be compact. And if you're not throwing a hook, you need to throw a straight shot to meet Shawn Porter when he's doing all of that ducking and dodging. That's what Danny Garcia did. He just didn't throw enough jabs in between his big shots to get some of those rounds. Errol Spence not going to make that mistake. This is going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a competitive fight. But I got Errol Spence Jr. winning by unanimous decision. I would say probably 8 rounds to 4. If Shawn Porter is on top of his game, he might get 7-5. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.